Hey, what's up everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you guys for checking it out. Please hit that like and subscribe button because I would appreciate it and it would mean a lot to me and it helps out the channel tremendously. If you guys like getting the content all the time, then do me a favor and just do that. If not, then that's okay too. You know, are we expecting too much from Xbox Scorpio? I'm not sure how to answer that. Let's see. Are we expecting too much? Hell, no, we're not expecting too much. This thing is going to be a complete beast. And even though I'm down on the whole Destiny 2 thing, which you should be too, honestly, it's like some people give a free pass to certain games, and Destiny seems to be one of them. I mean, at least with Call of Duty, they add things to it. You know what I'm saying? They do things to it to increase it. Like with Destiny 2, no dedicated servers, 30 frames per second. I mean, it looks just like Destiny 1. Come on. And we just all literally got ripped off with the first Destiny because they did this nonsense to us where they basically sold us a game and then it was an incomplete game and there's DLC on the disc and all this stuff. But nobody wants to bring any of that stuff up. I get it. If you're a Destiny fan, great. You like doing that kind of stuff. But for me personally as a gamer, I don't think so. And yeah, I'm not saying I'm any better with this stuff because I buy Call of Duty all the time, even though sometimes that game sucks hard. But anyway, back onto the topic of Scorpio. Are we expecting too much? No. The problem with Destiny is with the developers. It has nothing to do with Scorpio's power. It has nothing to do with anything like that. It's Destiny's developers. So blame them. Blame the engine. They can sit there and make excuses, which they did say that there's not enough horsepower in the PS4 Pro CPU, but yet they tried to get it into 4K or whatever, and it's going to be 4K on Scorpio. But for me personally, a shooter in this day and age not being 60 frames per second on these consoles is a bit underwhelming, to say the least. I can't go, as much as I like Gears 3 and Gears 2, and, well, not so much Gears Judgment, but I can't go back to them, the multiplayer. Why? Because I am so used to the fluidity of the Gears 4 multiplayer, and it's just, you can just tell the difference. It's just so much smoother and better and less clunky. So that's a me thing. Maybe that's not a you thing, but luckily, and this is where things can get interesting. When I'm saying like developers are going to be in charge of making sure Scorpio gets used the most use out of, right? So basically what I mean by that is a lot of the big developers are going to do like the 4K, and games like Battlefront 2, that's going to be 60 frames per second. Call of Duty World War II, that's going to be 60 frames per second. Now stuff like Red Dead 2, that's probably going to be 30 frames per second, but 4K. If some of these engines are just built for 30 frames per second, Scorpio's not going to magically make it 60. We've heard this time and time again. You know, so if you're expecting the Scorpio to give you a game that's the engine is built for 30 frames per second, if you think it's going to push it to 60, that's just not going to happen, folks. But that doesn't mean that the Scorpio is any less of a beast or any less of a monster than what we've expected. So don't be so down in the dumps. It's going to be an absolute monster. Xbox Scorpio version of Destiny 2 will be the best version on consoles specifically. It might not be 60 frames per second, but it's going to use all the high density textures and things like that right from the PC, even though they said they're not going to really talk about that until E3. And I know some people on my earlier video probably were thinking, well, they said they couldn't announce anything for Scorpio until after it's announced at E3, but that's not going to change the frame rate. If you look at the internal documents and stuff that Microsoft has, says that there needs to be parity with multiplayer between Xbox One S, and Xbox Scorpio. So even if that changes years from now, it's not changed right now. They especially wouldn't change it at the launch of Scorpio because that would just cause so much pissed off people and drama and things like that. The Scorpio is all about better, higher graphics, better fidelity, and things like that. They're going to be able to do a lot more, and it's going to run smoother, like no matter what. Even at 30 frames per second, you're not going to have those dips and things like that. I watched a video, it was like 20 minutes of Destiny 2, and the parts that I stayed awake for, I noticed that it was running on they said it was running on a PS4 Pro, and the frame rate drops were very evident. So I can imagine that the Pro is going to have nothing on the Scorpio version. The Scorpio version is probably going to run much, much better, and I think that we're going to be excited when we see these things running. You know what I mean? We got to see some of the side by side, but don't get down on Scorpio because of one developer who is using legacy coding on an old ass engine, and I don't think they've ever achieved a 60 FPS game before. So I mean, that's on them. That's not on Scorpio. The Xbox Scorpio is going to do exactly what Microsoft said, but you have to go back to the reveal and even what Digital Foundry said. Games that are hard-coded for 30 frames per second aren't going to get pushed up to 60. It's just not going to happen. As much as you'd like to, it's not. Scorpio is a current-gen console. It's not a next-gen console, folks. It's not getting different versions of these games. It's getting the same versions, maybe with like PC textures and things like that, but it's not going to be able to magically just go to 60. And the thing about consoles is that they want to keep is you get that same performance. You're not playing against somebody with 120 frames or anything like that, and I think that's one of the things console gamers like best about playing on consoles. So are we expecting too much from Scorpio? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a beast. I think that this particular issue falls on the developers, not Microsoft, not the Scorpio. So let me know what you guys think. Sound off in the comment section. Rate, comment, subscribe. Rack 'em up. Thanks for watching. Crapgamer out.